Okay, you can let me know when we're ready to rock and roll.
Cool.
Yeah, so as many of the regular attendees know, we broadcast live on YouTube and on Facebook is one of the things we're doing this year. So we're just getting that ready, and then we'll start the webinar live on this side.
We're all ready to go.
Excellent. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Officially welcome to this first weekly broadcast of 2021. I'm David Johnstone. I'm your main host for this weekly broadcast. My co-host, Mr. John Corey from Property Fortress, is currently in the United States of America. So he will join on some of our sessions, but I don't want to force him out of bed at sort of 4:45 a.m. on a Thursday morning just to join the webinar. So when he's able to join, he will, and then other times he'll not be able to, obviously. And I'm sure everyone understands that. So today, in for a fantastic treat to kick off the new year. Welcome to those who joined on YouTube and to those who have joined on Facebook. We now do this broadcast live on both those mediums, as well as here on our Zoom webinar. So, as I said, this is effectively a now being called a weekly broadcast as opposed to a weekly webinar. And that is, of course, partly due to the fact that we are live, but we are revamping and changing this format, changing the content, and we'll discuss a little bit about that now as we go through. But today, let me first of all welcome our two guests today. First of all, Tatiana has joined us once again for a brief look at her project before going live today. So good morning, Tatiana, how are you?
Good morning, good morning. Very well, thank you. Very well, thanks. Actually, today in Eastern Europe is Old New Year, so it's a little bit of celebration here.
Happy Old New Year, Tatiana.
Thank you.
Very good. And yeah, and you picked a good day then to launch your project, which we'll hear about in a few minutes.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and then Asher has joined us once again, obviously sort of a weekly regular resident is probably a good way of describing Asher. He's our head of online marketing and digital communications at LEOcrowdfunding, and he's actually a guest that we're interviewing today, which we'll talk about in a minute. So good morning, Asher. How's life in London?
Morning, David. Life in London's good. Cold, but still good. We're keeping up there, basically.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, let's get straight into it. 30 minutes goes quick. These are designed to be fast-moving, sort of high-paced, good content, and we want people to feel that this is a must for them on a weekly basis to tune in on a Thursday and basically catch up on what's happening in the world of property. So, as I mentioned, our YouTube channel is something that we're really focusing on into 2021. So you can see all the back webinars from last year, loads of great content with over sort of 40 webinars last year. Fantastic speakers, some incredible knowledge. It'd be actually interesting, Asher, to add up the amount of years of experience that all the speakers had. No doubt it would come to quite a big amount, particularly when you start with John straight away with his age. You'll not mind me saying that sort of helps the average stay high, but certainly fantastic content. And we want people to be able to access that and to learn, to educate themselves. And be aware of what's happening in the world of property in general, and of course, property crowdfunding in particular. So if you haven't already, please go on and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're on a drive to drive the numbers because you get more features and benefits once you cross certain thresholds of subscribers. So please do that for us if you haven't already. Now, one thing that we, of course, will continue is this market overview. And this is certainly where John Corey brings a wealth of knowledge and experience just through his contacts and the journey he's been on through property, not just in the UK, but also in the US and globally. So every week there'll be a short segment where it's latest news from people within the market, but even just about the market. You know, if Savills put a report out or JLL put a report out, just making sure that we bring the very latest take on the market. It is a bit of crystal ball. If you go back over last year, there's a lot of very experienced people had egg on their face, given their predictions for the 2020 that just didn't happen. But we want to just make sure that we're at least providing the information, and then people can decide who they think's right or wrong, or adjust their strategy, adjust what they're doing in property based on the information that we provide. So it's going to be an important segment every week. Now, we also want to do is focus on real lives, and that is bring guests on regularly who are real people, who are not dealing in the theory. They're not sort of sitting behind a desk talking about stats and looking at trends, but are actually out in the market, seeking to earn a living or make money from engagement in property. And we feel this is very, very relevant to anyone who's involved in the market, because it sort of gives live anecdotal experience of what's happening on the ground. I know this was very beneficial last year. We want to really sort of vamp this side of our broadcast up. So every week we want to try and have someone that can give us some real live experiences of what's happening in their sector, sort of on the ground straight away. And then we're going to have delighted to announce this new series that we're launching on YouTube. I'm delighted that Asher could join us today to talk us a bit through this. So I'll not even introduce it, Asher. I'll hand over to you, and you can explain what this is about and why it's going to be relevant. People will want to be tuning in on a regular basis to hear this.
I appreciate that, David. Well, I mean, it's basically we're planning on starting a YouTube series in the next month or so that kind of goes through what someone that is how it is from my perspective, getting into investment, money management, personal finance, and I think it's what a lot of people get lost on is the initial stages of investing your money. Those early parts where you're learning about budgeting and saving your cash, but also where to put it. And considering, we want to educate people, I felt it would be really beneficial to a lot of people to actually get a very transparent, but also very engaged, I guess, just videos on how it how important it is to save your money and I guess the steps in which to do so. I'm very sorry. It sounds a great timing, but someone's cutting down a tree outside my house. Just give me.
That's all right. That's the joys of live broadcast. No problem there. So in terms, Asher, of, if you like, the benefit to attendees, this is looking at property investment in general, but moving into property investment on crowdfunding through the eyes of someone like yourself and your peer group, this Generation Rent. My own son Joshua is 22. Already he's invested in some deals on the platform. Totally unbeknownst to me, about 2 weeks ago, he showed me that he's also invested in some stocks and shares. Oh, awesome. So I don't know if that came through conversations with you, but he's already started to invest. Now, obviously, it's a couple of £100 here or there. It's not tens of thousands or anything. Josh is doing a degree. He's got some part-time jobs, so he's creating a bit of income. But already, without even letting me know, he started to invest in stocks and shares, which I found quite interesting, because when I was 22, I certainly wasn't investing in stocks and shares. So the world has changed. And I think investors and fundraisers need to understand this new generation of investors.
I think it's not only become a lot more relevant to people of the younger generation. I think, it's something that I guess, personally, I've always wondered why it's not something that we're taught in school, how to manage your money, how to create a budget, how to even write a check. A lot of people don't know how to balance their checking account and that kind of stuff. So even not even as if many people use their checks these days anyway, but you get what I mean. And the thing is that I think, fortunately, with the advancements in technology and how things have changed, you can now trade stocks for free, all instantly via an app on your phone. So it makes it a lot easier to get involved and to get an understanding of what's going on in the market. And I think also in terms of research, you don't have to, I guess 10, 20 years ago, you'll be picking up the Financial Times and you'll be looking through all sorts of newspapers and books and seeing what people are saying. Whereas now you can get up-to-date information, which was impossible a decade ago. You know, you'd need a Bloomberg computer to actually know what's happening. Whereas now I can do that from my laptop, from my own home. So I think, you know, a lot of things have changed in stocks trading. So I think that will eventually turn into, you know, I feel like my investment in stocks is going to eventually turn into my investment in properties. So yeah, it's a really interesting time to you know, be considering investing in stocks and shares or in properties, because there's incredible ways to do it now.
Yeah. Tatiana, I'll bring you just in briefly on that. I don't know if you have a take on that. Obviously, you know, you worked in a private equity office for a while before getting into properties, so you've kind of got experience in that sort of investment world. I mean, what's your take on this sort of younger generation investing?
Well, I think this is fantastic, and I think this is a big breakthrough. For me, how I sort of see it, they didn't want you to know how to write the check. They didn't want you to know how to manage your money. They didn't want you to know how to, you know, and etc. So now they can't stop it. Therefore, economy was sort of booming in lots of perspective, because people didn't have that knowledge, whereas now it's actually is out there. So it's just your world. If you want to do it, you can do it, definitely. And I think, yes, it is a big change, and it's a good change. On the other hand, also, you know, it creates probably another market as well for. So we've got to wait and see.
Yeah,
I think absolutely.
I think it's just last point. I think that even though there's a lot of benefits to it, there's one thing that's really important to note, which is the ease of buying stocks and shares can create massive problems. I mean, all it takes is for you to download an app, and you can actually you can buy high leverage stocks for, you know, £100. And I think it's always important to note that, you know, you should always know what you're doing. You should know the risk.
Education. Yes, absolutely.
Because I've seen online quite a few people that have put some extreme high leverage on a stock that I guess you know, in Robinhood, for example, you get your top 10 stocks of the week, and a lot of them tend to get a huge surge, and then they drop off the face of the map after that. They're gone from the top 10 list. So I think it's always just, you know, good to know where the risks are, and try not to lose money, basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it says on the screen there, Leo Crowdfunding, of course, does not give any financial advice. We're just sort of having a general conversation there just about sort of the younger generation and their view of property investing and shares and stuff. So Asher was just giving some personal opinions there, but certainly not trying to give any financial advice. So let me update on a couple of things that are happening, quite exciting on the platform. So we have launched a new project in Leicester, which is currently view deal on the platform. This is a commercial to resi. It's a kind of well-known building near the centre of Leicester, City Gate House. And this fundraiser has secured this building and is turning it into 56 apartments. Planning is in place, senior debt's in place. And normally this fundraiser would construct these type of projects and would exit to a fund. So they're not normally sold individual units. It's usually the whole building is sold to a fund. So you can go on to the platform, click the view deal button, and you can see the pitch pages. You can record your interest if this is a project that grabs your attention. Of course, if you're fully registered, you can download the offer document and be able to have a look at the full detail. And we will be doing a webinar probably next week with the fundraiser VJ, very experienced, you know, really fantastic team, sort of like 25, 26 previous projects similar to this. So extremely impressive track record. And we'll have VJ on where you'll be able to have a chat to him and discuss this project. Now, also let me draw your attention to a new case study that is on the platform, Ocean House down in Cornwall. This is a sort of high yielding service accommodation. So there was a conversion took place initially. Now this property is up and running, and all the figures right through from the securing of the property to the refurb, and then to the rental figures that they've enjoyed since then, are all in a very detailed case study. So you can have a look there at Mark and his team. Again, very, very experienced in what he does. Used to be a car dealer, was the family business. They got to a point that they sold out the car dealership and moved into property. So a fascinating journey from Mark, and you'll be able to look at the whole case study, and he is preparing some raises for the future. So I encourage you to go on there, and again, you can record your interest if this is something that interests you. So without any further ado, let's get on to our sort of special guest today, Tatiana. No stranger to us. She joined us last year for one of our webinars. We actually had a project webinar last night, Tatiana, so we're seeing a lot of each other in the last couple of days.
Yes.
So just very brief, you've got sort of about 10 minutes to obviously to talk about your project here that goes live today at 12 o'clock. But for those who maybe don't know you, just a brief background, who you are, what you do, and then we'll move into your project.
So I'm a CEO of Atallon Homes, a property development, design and investment company. We specialize in off-market properties, and today I have this opportunity to tell you about Oak Gardens development. So we are in Prime Essex, and yes, we're going to be build a new build. It's a 4 ensuite double bedrooms based in just under 1 mile from the station, which takes you to London within 15 minutes to under half an hour. You've got M25 within 7 minutes down the road, and also plenty of outdoor space to explore. So this is a perfect staycation, feel like home, designed for enjoy it and work from home as it is now. And so this is a contemporary design, and you can see lots of glass, lots of natural light. So we engage in outdoors with indoors. There will be a little beautiful water feature as well there. So it's a high end, and this is something I'm very proud of to be doing. The build will be starting, I would say, late February, in months or so. And
Okay.
we just at the moment where we are instructing the valuation, probably if not this week, early that next week. We've got an offer already yes, and what else? That's it, ready to go, really.
Yeah, well, we'll go through. There's a couple more points we'll make as we go through. So just to let people understand the actual sort of project on the platform. So you're looking to raise 160,000. I think the minimum raise is 100. So provided we get to 100, then you can obviously draw those down. The projected ROI is 21%. And all things being equal, this will be a 12-month project, but we'll mention a bit more about that near the end in terms of Tatiana's plan if the unforeseen does happen, which from time to time can happen. But I wanted to concentrate on this just very briefly because this is something that we discussed, I think it was last November, this whole trend of moving out of London to be able to commute, obviously to the centre of London for work purposes, but having bigger rooms, more space in the house, and of course gardens because of the ongoing lockdown. And I think that was November. We're now into January, and there doesn't seem to be any imminent end to these cycles of tiers and lockdown. And interestingly, I was on a webinar at the start of the week. It was actually Brendan Quinn's webinar, and part of the discussion with the panel was not around whether there's a trend to move out of London. The discussion was how long will the trend last, and I was quite intrigued with that, because it wasn't even a discussion about whether this is happening. It was how long will it last. So even they were recognizing that there is a tangible move out of London and looking for these type of properties. So this feeds in very nicely, Tatiana, to your
it really
USP.
It really does. Yes, although it wasn't really kind of a purpose of COVID really, but this is something that actually my model of how, you know, how I see in property, where to make a big impact and changes. The house been abandoned for a long time, so, and it's got a very big plot of land. It just was asking for something that was really special and unique. And I also would just kind of like point out that based on a study, psychology, I mentioned probably earlier, David, in order to create a habit, you need 30 to 90 days. And in order to create a lifestyle, it goes 90 days plus, which we have reached in the lockdown, haven't we? And now it's the second one. So it really is shows that people are, they do effectively what they want to do, in my opinion, to get more for their money.
Oh, entirely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you would agree, Asher. I know you live in London, so you're having this conversation with friends. So what's your take on this?
No, this is I think everyone knows, you know, that working from home is the new normal. I think in terms of that changing, it's going to take a long while. I mean, we're still in lockdown. It's probably going to last a fair bit longer, but you know, even as things ease off, I think there's been a huge shift in the mentality of remote working. I think it's totally become the new normal, and I guess there's arguments against, well, that, you know, will it come return to, you know, office work and people having to go to you know, bigger cities to establish the fact that, you know, there's more people around, so there's more work going, and there's more money around. So once that changes and everything goes online, yeah, it'll be, you know, I don't think it's necessarily a temporary thing that people are picking up their lives and moving out the city. I don't think that's you know, just for 6 months type thing. I think a lot of people are considering it as a big life change. So I think, you know, for the next at least couple years, it'll probably be you know, the new normal, and I think that's what we'll find.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Okay, so in terms of the actual project, there's a building currently there, distressed property, Tatiana, and then obviously land around that.
Yes, it is, and it's surrounded by, you know, there's a meadow on the right, and there's a little woodland at the back, and there is no immediate neighbors. So it really is idyllic, and it's very peaceful, and just you feel like you are somewhere in a, you know, remote. Although if you step out of the you know, step out on the street, you are basically, you can be anywhere. The seaside, we've got seaside under 40 minutes drive, the airports as well, 40 minutes drive, and you've got London M25, you've got lots bars and restaurant, also shopping centers. So it really is a hotspot, I would say, for, you know, for the city workers, especially. It had, to be honest, it's always been so. And this is somewhere there where, you know, I live not far from, and I believe, and at the moment this is my strategy to work where I am based, being mother as well, and having a balanced life, having, you know, raising the child as well as doing my property development that is I'm very passionate about. And I want people to show, you know, what Atallon Homes is about, that we really building inspiring emotional, I would say, experiences, environments that it combines 360 of having changing dramatically the place together with its landscape.
It was actually really nice to walk around the plot of land with you, Tatiana, when we got to visit, and really get an understanding of you know, your ideas and your plans for the project. And I think you know, especially considering the location, but also your plans for it. No, I feel like it'll be a very in demand property, because you've got the best of both worlds. You're essentially by the city, but you're not in the city. So it's really great for the commute. And you know, I'm sure I could speak for the rest of us saying that I'm really excited to see how this comes along, and especially in the development.
Thank you. You must have also heard about Crossrail. Crossrail is coming. It's got a little bit of a delay, but it doesn't matter even if it comes or not. It is coming. So the advantage of this being in Shenfield is that you can get a train that gets you to Bond Street within 40 minutes.
Amazing.
And then anywhere really to Heathrow, or so you don't have
that's very, the location wise is very, very good. So so again, people obviously can go into the platform, they can download the offer document and all of that. So again, just to highlight again for any attendees who are on now, this obviously goes live at 12 o'clock. So the raised amount is 160,000, minimum target 100,000. In normal circumstances would be a 12-month project, but what Tatiana has decided to do is, I know you're very keen to not overpromise and under-deliver. So Tatiana structured the investment return, the potential investment return, in such a way that if it does cross 12 months, if something happens with COVID unforeseen or circumstances that can't be helped, if it does cross 12 months, then the projected return to the investors goes from 21 up to 23% after that 12-month period. So this is a priority share, which means that the investors can access or receive their profit share before Tatiana takes any profit. So I think this is a really good idea, Tatiana, that you've done, just to give a bit more breathing space, but also, if you like, let the investors know that you understand if it does go over, that's not what you would like, but you're willing to give them a bit more of a profit share.
Absolutely, yes, because I do believe when, you've got to know that your money is working for you and you are looked after. Essentially, it's also for us why we're doing this as a company. First of all, I'm bringing my name to the company. Secondly, is this is for us an opportunity for people to learn about us and go on a journey and see what we are about. And then, of course, if you like, you can always reinvest with us. So this is for us to, as a company, a big step. Although it's also important to mention that this project is actually self-funded, and it can be self-funded. So this is for us just basically an invitation for people to come on board and learn about us.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. So again, all the details can be got there, and as always, we just point out that investment property with assets does have risk, and obviously you should read the full risk warning before deciding to invest.
Also, anyone, if you have, to anyone who's watching, if you have any questions about the project itself, you want to ask Tatiana anything before it goes live in a couple hours, feel free to, write your question in the Q&A, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible during this video. Yep.
You can use a Q&A here or go on the forums as well. So if you keep an eye on the forums, Tatiana, in the next hour and a half, if people do have last-minute questions, they tend to put them into the forum as well. And yeah, this is just, so this video, I'm not going to spoil it. You can go on and see all these full videos on the pitch pages. So yeah, so today this goes live at 12 noon today. So those who are interested in investing in this can log in straight away at 12, and you can make your investment from there. So that is the I suppose exciting, what, an hour and a half's time, many weeks of preparation, Tatiana, will all come together for the big launch of your project.
Yes, and for those who decided already, welcome on board, and it would be great to also meet you if you would like to go, and there will be site viewings, so you'd be able to come and meet me in person, which is great. So there we go.
We have a question here from Felicia,
Sure.
asking if it's possible to invest via an ISA.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to say that.
No, the answer is not, unfortunately. This is equity. So it is a buying of a share in the SPV that owns the land that Tatiana's bought. ISAs can only go into sort of peer-to-peer crowdfunding platforms or through debt and loan type structures. So unfortunately not. The equity is a different beast than loans on that. But thanks for the question. So thanks, Tatiana, for joining us today. The last slide really is just to wrap up on reminding people that myself and John Corey from Property Fortress, if those who tuned in slightly late, John's actually over in the US over Christmas with his family. So I thought it'd be very hard on me to insist that he got out of his bed every morning at 4:45 a.m. on a Thursday just to be tuned in. So he will be on some of our weekly broadcasts, and you will hear from him from week to week, but just not every week. But John and I can be contactable via social media. If you want to talk about consultancy, or you need help with a deal, particularly when it comes to equity, obviously through the platform and structuring of deals, we can certainly help, and have helped a number of people in the past on that. I know, Tatiana, actually you're a client of John's, so I know John has helped you with this deal.
Yes. It's been a very smooth journey for me, just simply because John was basically on board with me, and I can't see myself doing it without him, to be honest. This is my first crowd raising, so it's been everything to me. And John, I know John probably since I've met him 7 years ago, and I've been very big fan of him in a way that, you know, how he presented his networking evenings, and you know, who those people who always turn up to John's events, they were all serious people, even starters, but most of them, they were of course people who were actually in the property, and everyone was sharing all the knowledge, or you know, even lots of people actually done, like, created companies together, JV. So he's a great source to
No, he is very much so. He's been given a really good plug today in his absence, as he lies in bed in America. The joys of business. He's fast asleep in bed, and you're plugging his networking events, and I'm plugging his consultancy. So he owes us a favor. Listen, everyone.
Sorry, we've just got one last question as well from Felicia. She's asking what the minimum investment amount is for Oak Gardens. I feel like we discussed this last night. Is £100, right? Because Tatiana wants to get.
It is 100, yeah.
You want to get everyone involved, and you know, everyone that's, I guess, interested and wants to put, you know, a small amount towards the project. I guess it's, you know, it's a great way to kind of get as many people as you can involved, and kind of build a community around the project. So it's really great.
That's right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so just a few minutes over time, so let's wrap it up there now. Tatiana, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having
Asher,
me.
thank you again
my pleasure.
for your help, and obviously we'll get stuck in now to get ready for 12 o'clock. But for everyone else who's joined us today, thank you very much. Please make it a weekly occurrence. We want to get a lot of interaction, want to provide value, and I think you'll enjoy tuning in every Thursday at 10 a.m. for our weekly broadcast. So thanks for being here today. Really appreciate you taking the time. Have a great rest of the week. And of course, above all, in the current circumstances, make sure you stay safe. All the best, guys.